Hey, hey, everybody. This is Holly Southerland with Rockstar Organizers. We have such an amazing network of organizers, one of whom we get to talk to today. You get to hear all about her story. And we're going to share a little bit of the behind the scenes of Sandy's big leap this last year. And so, welcome, Sandy. Glad that you're here with us. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm doing really good. I am super happy to be part of Rockstar Organizers with you. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, you are in Utah, right? You're in Ogden, Utah. Is that right?
Yes.
Awesome. And how long have you been an organizer, Sandy?
So actually, November is my 2-year anniversary.
Oh,
So
wow. So this month
yeah.
to you. I would love to hear about your journey. I've been part of it and I've seen parts of it, and then there's parts of it I haven't really known about. So I would love to hear more about, what was it like in that first like 6 months where you were trying to get things off the ground and you were trying new things? What was that experience like for you back then? Do you remember?
So I started, obviously, like I'm a busy mom. I have 4 kids. At the time, it was ranging from like 4 to 18, I want to say. So I started because I went through my own organizing journey to, declutter and just be able to be a present mom with my kids. I decided to leave my paralegal job. I just went kind of full force in and then realized, oh crap, like I don't know how to navigate through all of the business stuff. Like I can organize and I can declutter, and I feel like I have like the kind of like the coaching part down, where I could help my clients coach them through it. But the business side of things, I was like, I have no idea where to start.
So you were part of Momentum back before it was really what it is now. And then,
Yes.
because I was in my own journey of figuring things out, I knew I could help organizers. And then learning kind of the structure of things is what I myself had to learn. And I realized that that's a lot of the organizer's journey too, is how do I structure things? How do I do the business side of things? I'm an awesome organizer is what they all say, but this whole business side of things just like trips, trips people out. And honestly, that's where I was about 2 years in business after I was really giving it a go. Like, okay, I want some support with this. And I was ready to go all in. And that's one thing that I notice about you, Sandy, is that you do go all in. You're like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm committing. And one thing I admire about you is you're honest with yourself. A lot of people will
Yes.
just shove things aside and just pretend like it's not happening, but you're very real with yourself. And you're like, okay, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I'm experiencing. And I'm ready to take the next step. And so you ask for support. And I really appreciate and admire that about you in our community. It's helped you to get where you are by reaching
Yes, it
out.
definitely has. Because the way that I look at it is like, I have the support. I know where I want to go. It just, I just needed the guidance to get there. And
Mhm.
I mean, a lot of parts of what I love that you do is you break it down to like bite-sized pieces, and you have the different things. Like I remember at the time I was like, do I want to do package pricing, and then, or do I want to do by assumption? And I just feel like you gave me a lot of clarity and confidence to offer package, pricing. And it was just, it's been, it's just been a lot of clarity that I feel like I have, and confidence to move my business forward, which is what I think has put me where I am.
Amazing, amazing. Do you remember? Can you take me to a moment in time, if you can remember, when you felt scared to offer packages? Because I hear this from a lot of people, and I think that this could encourage some people. If you can remember a time that either you were scared or you were just unclear, maybe there wasn't a lot of fear. You're just like, I don't really get this. I don't really understand this. I hear that from some people. And what was that journey like for you of implementing the pricing model that I recommend for Rockstar Organizers? And then you took off after that. But what was it like right before that? Do you remember?
I know what I wanted to accomplish in terms of like financial goals. And I was like, okay, if I'm doing, 4-hour sessions by myself, I'm never going to accomplish those financial goals that I have. So
Mm.
before that, I was like, I've got to figure out some sort of formula that's going to get me there. And so when I heard you offering package pricing, I hurried up, followed like what you said, come up with 3 different pricing options. And then I remember at the time I was like, okay, I'm just going to put it out there. I'm going to see how it goes. And one of them was, I think it was like 150 hours was like my biggest package, right? And the next day I get a potential client, and she's like, yeah, I want to organize my whole entire house. And I was nervous because at the time I only had like a friend helping me. And I was like, oh my God, like, so then I go to the consultation and I told her like, yeah, I'd recommend, the 150-hour package. And I told her, I think it was like close to like $10,000. And I told her the price, and she's like, oh, okay, yeah. So how do I pay you? And I was like, wait, what? Like, are you sure? Like, I wanted to ask her, like, are you sure? Like, you're sure, right? But obviously I didn't. I was just like, I took a step away and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is really happening. So I remember like I told her, I can do half payment up front and then half halfway through or whatnot. And she was like, yeah, for sure. And she was like, I have no problem paying that. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is
Wow.
amazing. And I think from there, just my like confidence and just everything just kind of grew so fast just by following that like that, way of setting up my business.
Wow. I never knew that was like the next day. I do remember you implementing package pricing. It would have been June of last year of 2022. I feel like that's when we did that workshop and you
Yeah.
implemented it. I remember getting on and like working on your Dipsado with you late one night, um,
Yeah.
getting the contract plugged in and stuff so you could get it sent out. Maybe that I don't know if
Yeah.
that was that exact client, but that's amazing. And it's honestly not uncommon that as soon as you take a step to believe in yourself and invest in yourself at some level, it sends a signal to others that I can't even describe that says I'm worth investing in and that I believed it first because I invested in myself first.
Yes, for sure. Like I don't feel like I ever have any trouble with clients telling me, like, I'm not going to pay you or anything regarding pricing. I think that my clients have been, they trust me. They trust me because I feel like I show up confidently. They trust me as the expert. And on top of that, they see, that, the packages are positioned and like what they can accomplish with so many hours. They're like, I just want that.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't become so much price focused. It's more like the benefits, which is what
Mm-hmm.
I love.
I love that too because people really do care what's in this. Like, what do I get out of this? A lot of organizers, I feel like, have a misstep that it's all about the price, and so they try to put a discount on the higher package. Oh, because you're going to buy 150 hours, let me go ahead and put in a 10% discount for you. They never even
Yes.
asked, you know.
The
And
funny thing is that this client was like, oh, she did ask, like, do I get a discount for, having so many hours? And I was like, no, you don't. This is the way that, like packages are set up, based on experience and, based on the amount of benefits that you get from it. And when I said that, she was like, oh, okay, no problem. And I was like, okay, great. Like, you know, I feel like that's
Mhm.
just one of the things that I also was able to learn from working with you is just that you have been able to help me build that confidence where I can like tell a client, no, you don't get a discount, but you get all these benefits.
That is so key to taking the next step is to own your own process and own your own prices instead of letting other people say, oh, do you want to leave this money on the table and let me keep it? It's like, no, ma'am, I do not. This is how it works, and there doesn't even have to be a lot of explaining with it. This is the price, like Nikki says,
Right.
tell you like it's the time of day. And that was a big shift I had to make myself about 2 years in to getting really serious about my business too, was am I going to do what everybody else does and do these other pricing models that really are just leaving a lot of money on the table completely unnecessarily, in my opinion? Or do I really want to look at, like you said, my own financial goals and my own vision about this is where I actually want to take my business? And not even just that, but this is what feels good to me. A lot of organizers come to me and they're like, I don't even feel good about doing the discounts. I don't even want to do this. I just don't know any other way to do it?
Yep.
And once you settle into that confidence, like you said, it really sets you up to then take the next confident step after that. And you've hit a major milestone recently that you shared with us about. And I would love for you to kind of take us on that journey of what that was like over the last, let's say you started Team Building Blueprint with me in July, maybe the first week of August. And so then August, September, October. And then I think you hit your first 6-figure year by the end of October. We're in November right now. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving at the time of this recording. And so really it was the last 3 months. I don't know exactly where you were but when you came into Team Building Blueprint after that break of working with me and Momentum last year. But I know that you did have a big push. You did have a big push in the last few months and you achieved it and you were intentionally going after it. So take me through that process. Walk us through what that was like for you.
Yeah. So I remember I joined Momentum, or not Momentum. I think it was Reboot. Sorry. And there was like Momentum, and then there was Team Building Blueprint, and I was like, you know what? I want to go all in. Like, I just want to have a team, and I just want to pull myself back from working on site. I want to be able to start jobs, but I don't want to be there all the time. I want to be with my kids. And so with the way, with the way that, my packages are set up, I needed people and I needed help. So I remember at the time I had like one person helping me, but it just grew so fast just by following, because there's a lot of things that you provide, like, visibility and just a lot of insight that you provide that just grew my business to the point where it was like getting out of control in terms of like a lot of work. So then I decided, you know what, Team Building Blueprint is going to be what's going to be best for me. I want to get to where, I remember at the time I was like, it'd be so amazing to get to 10K months, right? That was like my first goal. And so in August, I reached 15K and I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. And I remember you told me like, oh, you should go for 20K, for September. And September, I still got I think I still got to like 12 or 13 or something. But then October, I was like, I'm going to get to 15K. And I worked really, really hard. Like I was, just putting myself out there, just continuing to work through. And I know I probably was like, Colin, I need to do this. Like, and I feel like you guided me a lot through it. And then October came and it was that 20K month. I hit it. And it was also the month where I hit 100K. And I just couldn't believe it. Like, it was such an amazing time because it was like people have actually paid me that much money. Like they trust me. Like I'm really the expert here. Like it was one of those like moments where I realized like, wow, this is incredible. I was able to bring on 3 other assistants, and I want to say that month I probably on site only worked like 35 hours. for the month. So it was like, wow, like, I just don't have any words to explain how I felt when I hit that milestone, because never in like my life would I think that that would happen so quickly in my second year. So now I'm like, okay, what's next goal? It just gave me so much confidence.
Wow.
It just gave me the confidence, and I'm so happy.
Wow. I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. I remember seeing your post and your announcement about it, and I was like, "That's my goal." And I think you even
Yes,
said you got a new car. You treated yourself to a new car. Was that right? That's the part that
yes,
made
I
me
got a
tear
new
up.
car.
Like,
Yep.
and she got the seat warmers in her car like she wanted. It just made me so happy on the inside.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? Like the last time I purchased a car was probably over 10 years ago. And I remember I was like, okay, I I didn't even go in with a list. I was just kind of like, oh, well, we'll see what I can land. And this time I was like, no, I want to be picky and I want to be specific. And I'm like, I want my car to have seat warmers. I want my car to have a steering wheel like warmer. And I want the seats to be brown leather. And the first car that I go and look at has like those things. And I remember I also was like, and I want captain seats so my kids don't have to fight over like who's going to sit at the middle. And everything. I was like, this is it. Like, and I sat back in just that reflective moment of like, my husband kept reminding me, like, you worked hard for this, and like
You
you get
did.
to, yes. And I'm so happy.
I'm so happy too. Oh, my heart is filled with joy right now because I have seen you work hard for it. You've shown up. You really ask good questions. You really plug in. And is anybody perfect? No. And you would be the first to say that you're not. But I think that there's just so much everybody can be inspired by with your journey because you just keep taking another step, and it's okay if it's messy. It's okay if you like, oh, that's not the way I want to do it again. But just the fact that you keep going, and that you keep being honest with yourself and you keep taking that next step is what allows you to be able to have those celebration moments. And I love that you took the time to celebrate and to say, you know what, this is really important to me. This is what I want. And I'm going to go for it.
And I really think that, you know, for example, like I've always thought, how do I want my clients to invest in me if I'm not investing in myself? I need to, like find someone who has already done this and can guide me and is knowledgeable and, can guide me in a way that it makes sense to me. And I feel like that's where I found you. It's like, we talked and I told you what my struggles were and I told you what I was looking for. And I feel like you were like spot on with helping me in the way that I needed the help. And I think that guidance is like, yes, a lot of it is because of the work that I put in, but I really think that if I did not have the guidance, I would have taken more time or have given up, doing it myself, because it is definitely a journey, but it's, with your guidance, I just feel like it just made it easier for me. And I've grown so much as a person. Um, and I always want to tell people, like invest in yourself and in your growth because there's power in that.
Absolutely. That makes me so happy that we can connect like that and that you feel the empowerment with my guidance. And I have always just clicked with you. I've always felt like you're just a sister in a way that we get each other. We have the same strengths in some ways and we have the same struggles in some ways. And so it's just easy to be like, okay, Holly, what would you do in this situation? I'll be like, I literally had that situation yesterday. This is what I did. And I just love you to pieces. I'm just so proud of you. just the pride and the accomplishment and everything that you've done and everything that you've put yourself to. It's just really inspiring to me. So I think that's probably the best way I can say it at this moment. Well, is there anything else that you want to share about your journey of reaching your first 100K, only 2 years in business? Like, what would you say to other people who are wanting that same goal? And if you look back at your journey and some of the most important milestones of like things that you did to help you get there so quickly, like what would you encourage other people with?
I definitely encourage everyone to hire Holly to guide. Not only that, but also be open-minded to learn and grow. Show up for yourself. That's where like the growth happens. And you have to think all of it is temporary. You have to make that suffice. And just be kind with yourself. There's not a right or wrong way. That's probably the biggest thing that I feel like I've also learned from you. Just one of the things you've taught us, just go with it, and you'll learning from it. It's never you never fail. You always learn through it, and that's pretty much it.
Invest in yourself, do the work, immerse yourself, ask questions, all of that. Yes. Beautiful. Well, that about wraps up our time together. Thank you for joining me tonight. That was awesome. I love Sandy so much. I know that you were so inspired by her story. And one of the most special things that we do within our community is our 3-day events. Sometimes it's called Reboot. Sometimes it's called Rockstar Organizers Live. And we gather together for 3 days online in a virtual retreat setting where we spend all day for 3 days working on our businesses, collaborating, sharing ideas, maybe even crying and laughing together a little bit, and just getting to the real stuff that it takes to run a successful organizing business. And sometimes it can be so lonely as an organizer. But Rockstar Organizers Live is a time to come together, set aside the lonely feelings of being an entrepreneur and trying to figure things out by yourself, and just allow yourself to be supported. It's coming up December 14th through 16th, and can't wait to see you there. It's $97 for the weekend. And we're really going to dig deep into what makes you, what makes you the specific type of organizer that you are, and then really stepping into more of who you are and being visible with confidence, with clarity, like Sandy talked about, so that you can really get those types of clients that you like working with and grow your business to amazing heights and beyond in 2024. And can't wait to see you there. You can register at rockstarorganizerslive.com.